agenda, we have Mr. Charlie Kennedy.
Charlie Kennedy has served for over 35 years as head coach of the Suburban Seahawks Club, a regional powerhouse and nationally recognized program near Philadelphia. During Coach Kennedy's time, the program has grown from 25 swimmers to over 200. And during that tenure at Suburban, Kennedy has coached hundreds of swimmers of all ages, including standouts Brendan Hansen, a world record holder, and 2004 and 2008 Olympic gold medalist, as well as Grace Cornelius and Corey Clark, both individual USA national champions. The renowned technician has been a coach at Swarthmore College since 1997 and has also been recognized as ASCA Age Group Coach of the Year, Middle Atlantic Age Group Coach of the Year, and Senior Coach of the Year on multiple occasions, in addition to NCSA Coach of the Year. In the pool, Charlie Kennedy was a star at the University of Iowa as a three-time captain of the Hawkeyes and a holder of 5 collegiate records. The American Swimming Coaches Association is proud to welcome Charlie Kennedy to the American Swimming Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Charlie Kennedy.
He's just that good. We had to see it twice. Okay, I'd like to introduce Andrew Austria up to the stage to do the introduction for Coach Kennedy.
I get so nervous with these speeches because the podium is usually taller than I am, so. Housekeeping item, if you guys need some extra dessert, we have a huge cookie cake over here at our table. You can grab a piece on the way out, I know. It is an honor and a privilege to be standing up here in front of so many of you that have been such a positive influence in the swimming community for so many years. I've been given this opportunity tonight to introduce one of the newest members of the ASCA Hall of Fame, Charlie Kennedy. I too wanted to first give special thanks to the late Bill Wadley for helping get the ball rolling for this recognition. And also congratulations to Ray and Cindy for their induction. Charlie's journey as a swimmer began as a late bloomer at Marple Newtown High School in Pennsylvania. From there, he went on to the University of Iowa, where he was a captain of the nationally ranked program. And then stayed on after graduation as an assistant coach from 1980 to 1982. From there, Charlie's passion for swimming continued as he took over the Suburban Seahawks Club in 1982, and also was an assistant coach at Swarthmore College from 1997 and still is there today. As a head coach of the Suburban Seahawks Club, he has had the opportunity to swim and coach with some of the greats such as Brendan Hansen, Tim McKee, Carl Roby, Brenda Borg, and Grace Cornelius. I have to mention Tina Horn, or Tina Locke is here as well. Kelly Nelson is here, and Allie McHugh is one of the latest studs. I have a ton more names I could name off with accomplished swimmers, but my time up here is, I'm told, is limited, so keep it at that. We are thankful to have some of our Suburban coaching staff here and past coaching staff here at this wonderful table. We traveled down from Pennsylvania. I almost missed my flight today, so I'm lucky to be down here. We also have our Middle Atlantic Swimming Executive Director, Jamie Platt is here in support of Charlie Kennedy. Despite a couple setbacks in SSC history, it's been Charlie's ongoing effort and presence that has made the Suburban Seahawks Club one of the most successful clubs in the country. Charlie has helped so many individuals along the way, not only to reach their highest potential, but in the pool, He's helped so many individuals along the way, not only to reach their highest potential in the pool, but in life itself. He always stresses to the swimmers, the results of your actions are due to the efforts that you put in. And from Charlie's story, he has definitely put in a ton of effort in everything he does, and one of the reasons why we're here tonight. Charlie had put so much into the sport, into your kids, into your community, and the coaches that you mentor. So for that, I am proud to introduce ASCA Hall of Fame recipient, Charlie Kennedy.
Good evening, everybody. My voice is a little, so I'm going to have some water up here just to help me a little bit. Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you for nominating me. Thank you, ASCA. Thank you, Bill Wadley. First, I'd like to convey my most sincere congratulations to my fellow inductees, Ray Luz and Cindy Gallagher. To be mentioned in the same breath, to be inducted alongside these two amazing and accomplished people is truly an honor. This induction is the highest honor of my lifetime. The American Swimming Coaches Association is an organization run by coaches for coaches. The fact that my peers selected me for this prestigious honor means everything. If you're wondering how long ASCA has been serving the coaching community, I can tell you that I'm 1 year older than ASCA. So ASCA has been around a long time and has helped so many coaches. So about 30 years ago, there was a book that President Clinton made reference to. It may have been while he was campaigning. The title of the book was, "It Takes a Village." The main point of the book, if I remember correctly, was that there are many people who play a role in the development of every child. Parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, teachers, coaches, pastors, sports figures, celebrities. I'd like to acknowledge and thank some of my villagers. First of all, thank you to my parents, Patrick and Leonora, who gave me their love, support, and encouragement. They never forced me to go to practice, and they allowed me to always leave swimming in the pool. Thank you to my sisters, Christine, Trace, Sheila, and PK, for your love and support these many years. My thanks to my first summer club coach, Barbara Bartlett, who made my first swimming experience a thoroughly enjoyable one. My first coach at Suburban was Henry Himmons, and I thank him again for making me a much better technical swimmer and stronger. Frank Keefe, who I think many of you know, the legendary Frank Keefe, he was our head coach, and I want to thank Frank for developing me into a national level swimmer, which ultimately led to a swimming scholarship in college. Frank, your dedication and passion for swimming and for excellence was truly inspiring. Through your staggeringly challenging training regimen, I grew strong both physically and mentally. Indeed, the challenges I met during my years as an athlete helped me meet the challenges that were to come later on in life with confidence and resolve. A thank you to Glenn Patton, my college coach, who showed me that the power of positive thinking and the power of the group mind. Glenn took the University of Iowa swimming program from the cellar to the top of the Big Ten Conference in 6 years. He had a vision, he shared it with us, we bought into it, and that's what happened. We basically went from the cellar to the top in a very, very short time. So I always think about the power of positive thinking. In the summer of 1982, I interviewed for the head coaching position at the Suburban Swim Club. During the previous year, the team had become an age group feeder program for another larger team in the area. but the head coach of that team had decided to end the merger. At the time, there were about 25 kids swimming at Suburban. Board President Jim Meehan, who happens to be the father of our Olympic coach, Greg, little fun fact there, Greg swam for me. But Jim told me, he said, well, we'll be happy to hire you, but we're not sure if we're going to be able to keep the lights on. They would offer me $6,000 for the year, which actually was a little bit more than I was going to make if I was a graduate assistant at Iowa. But most of all, I was intrigued with the opportunity to be the head coach of a club that I had swum for. So money was tight. The building was not in the best condition. Daylight was poking through holes in the structure where the walls met the roof. The air ventilating system consisted of a fan belt-driven fan up in the eaves, which was clearly in need of a new belt. The pool was losing about an inch of water every 2 days. And it was a metal pool, if you can imagine that. But back in the late 50s when the pool was built, I guess that was the least expensive route to get a pool. Okay. So one of the first things I tried to do was do a little bit of painting in the building, try to see if I could clean up the Universal gym that was up in the mezzanine. And when I went to the paint store to pick up some paint, the local paint shop would not extend Suburban a $40 credit. So you kind of get a sense that things were a little tight back then. But thankfully, with the help of a number of our swim team parents, things got better. We received a grant from the Delaware County Council. One of our swim team parents happened to be sitting on that at the time, Senator Cornelius. And then one of our other parents was a contractor, and so we got a bunch of his, a bunch of his guys from work together, and they did some major repairs on the building and fixed the place up. I was later told there were 174 holes in the pool. That's why we're losing water. So Suburban and I have been together for nearly 40 years, and I was just thinking that the number 40 is mentioned in the Bible at least twice. In the passage about Noah and the great flood, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. When Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, they were in the desert for 40 years. So I guess it's safe to say that my union with Suburban has reached biblical proportions. I have on occasion remarked half-kiddingly, I married Suburban. I have loved and cherished Suburban, and Suburban has done the same. We've stayed together through the ups and downs. We had a building that was in disrepair. It got fixed up. Then we lost that building in 1996 when a blizzard came and dumped 30 inches of snow in the area and buckled a portion of the roof. So Sue Davis at Swarthmore College saved our program. We moved everybody over there for about 6 years. Through the generosity of Rich and Dottie Mead and many others, we rebuilt and opened in 2002. In 2008, we came back from the Nationals. Corey Clark had just won a title, and the doors were locked. We came to find out that the electric bill hadn't been paid. The electric bill was $45,000. So an investigation basically proved that our office manager had embezzled about $110,000, and that was enough to close us. So once again, we were back at Swarthmore. Sue saved the day again. One of our swim team parents, Bob Yashimura, started a dialogue with the bank that had the mortgage on the place and continued dialoguing over the next 3 years, and finally in the fall of 2011, we got back in the building. So, ups and downs, just like life. I know that my evolution as a coach and my evolution as a human being have gone hand in hand. As a young coach, I was primarily focused on developing fast swimmers. Nothing wrong with that. As I grew older, though, I had a better understanding of how the athletic experience can help mold our children into fully realized human beings. I came to realize that character supersedes swimming speed. Swimming fast is awesome, but what the world needs most are good people. I meet our kids where they are, and I do my best to take them as far as they desire to go, with the understanding that, it's going to be their decision. There are decisions that are going to basically decide this. We convey to our swimmers the importance of ownership. Empowerment is achieved by taking responsibility for one's thoughts, words, and actions. So we're not really raising children. Hopefully we're raising adults. Children pass the buck, but adults take responsibility. They take ownership. I stand before you tonight because in the eyes of the American Swimming Coaches Association, I'm one of the best swimming coaches in the United States. I'm very humbled by that. But I think it's most important to balance that with the fact that I'm the face of the program. The club would never have achieved this success and prestige it enjoys today without the efforts of many people, the swimmers, their parents, and the coaching staff. I'd like to take a moment to thank those coaches who shared in the architecture and the evolution of our program. Jane Marshall Kessler was my first assistant my first year. We ended up with about maybe 65 or 70 kids. We coached every group, and thankfully the lights stayed on. Bill Crawford was my next head assistant for about the next 13 years. Bill had coached me at Suburban, and there probably wasn't a more dedicated coach than Bill. He loved coaching. He coached our masters team. The masters loved him because he did a lot of stroke correction. And he used to say to me, Charlie, he was from South Philadelphia, Charlie, if I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound. So that was Bill. That was definitely Bill. Just a few other names. I just feel so full of gratitude. I just wanted to mention some names here. Cindy Eichler, Carrie Patterson, Marty Saunders, Dan Richards, Dan Levy, Bob Fair, Dave Bartlett, Pete Lee, Matt McKernan, Lindsay Poland, Dan Campbell, Pete Thompson, Danielle Mackey, Biliana Poniatova, Brooke Bruno, Kathleen Meehan Davis, Chris Daly, who's here, Jason Brennan, Kelly and Kristen Nelson, Tina Horn Locke. Our current staff, a big shout out to them. Every year I wonder how I'm so lucky to have such a great staff. So I just want to give a shout out to our staff, our current staff, Ashley Suchecki, Joanna Murphy, Missy Hanway, Ed Hanway, Mira Fessel, Missy Turner, Erica Meisner, Alyssa Myers, Stephanie Caldedano, Svetlana Poniatova, Ann Gavin, Andrew Austria, TJ Bolivar, Ray Horn. 8 of our current staff members are former Suburban swimmers. They swam for me, and I take that as the highest compliment. When people go through the program and they come back to coach with me, I think that's one of the best things ever. I wanted to thank my people who came here tonight. Chris Daly, who's now coaching in Florida, he started with me back in 2001. Kristen and Kelly Nelson both swam for me and both coached. They were both outstanding swimmers and outstanding coaches. Tina Hortlock, TJ Bolivar, who was supposed to be here, and I think there were some storms up in the Philadelphia area, so she couldn't get down here. Andrew Austria, thank you for the nomination. Andrew's our ambassador. Years ago, there was a company called Sara Lee that made a lot of really delicious baking products, and their jingle was, everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. So you can just insert Andrew Austria's name in there. Nobody doesn't like Andrew Austria. Ray Horn is my North Star. He's as steady as the North Star. You can always count on him for his dependability, his his wisdom, and his loyalty. I just want to thank all these people. They all have a special place in my heart. I want to give a shout out to our current board of directors, headed by Drew Murphy, and also Office Manager Joanna Murphy, for so masterfully navigating these past 15 months. I don't think anyone could have done a better job. Lastly, I would like to thank my teachers. First, my fellow coaches. When I first began my coaching career, I thought I knew a fair amount. And I did know a fair amount, but that was thanks to the great coaches that I had. But the wealth of knowledge I have gained over these past 40 years is in part due to your willingness to share your knowledge. It may have been at a presentation at the wonderful ASCO World Clinic. It may have been at a local one. I often picked up pearls of wisdom just being on the deck and listening to comments or corrections being made by another coach. I walk by, I'd hear something, I think, wow, that's really brilliant. I'm going to remember that. I also want to thank all of my fellow coaches who continue to raise the bar through your creativity and dedication, which in turn inspires me to do better. Finally, I want to thank all of the swimmers, past and present, who put your trust in me. When I was having a down day, I could always count on you to lift me up. I hope I have been able to do the same. You are my greatest teachers. Suburban and I, in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, and hopefully till death do us part. Thank you very much.